Welcome back to what is already our fourth edition of ES Wednesday Stories. We are glad for everybody to join us again. We have some great topics ahead, so sit back, enjoy, and if you want to read up on the topics we report about, they will all be linked down below. So first up, Thailand. And what is in Thailand? Well, you forgot something. That's how the story starts that Lonely Planet reports upon. Thailand has been mailing back trash to tourists as it aims to protect its natural wonders. Tourists who have stayed at the Koh Ai National Park got packages with left litter returned to them. Thailand, as one of the most visited countries in the world, has been dealing with the effects of tourism, pollution, destruction and the destruction left in its wake. Because of the pandemic, Thailand has been looking for ways to better manage their natural resources and how to respond to for instance, pollution left behind. Good for you, Thailand. Just mail it right back. Hopefully they'll learn something from it if they actually get their litter sent back home. So that's an inventive way to deal with it, I think. While we are on sustainability and traveling, Travel Daily News has an article up about the EHMA Sustainability Award, which in its 9th time being awarded, is awarded to the Apollonia Beach Resort and Spa in Crete. The resort has undertaken inventive steps at promoting and participating in a sustainable tourism economy, with steps including but not limited to increasing its park and reforesting it, to only using local produce in its restaurants, promoting bike uses across the island with free bikes to use, and many more. This is definitely a place we have to look into. We should try and visit. Looks interesting. So while we are talking about a little bit of an exotic place, or at least a little bit of an exclusive place, Travel Daily News has a report up about the top 8 exotic places to visit according to them. Now, I'm always a big fan of exotic locations and we hope to feature many in the years to come. But remember, travel safely, travel sustainably and behave. The list features locations as the Forest of Knives on Madagascar, with its marvelous geological formations, Easter Island in Chile, with the famous stone heads, and to some less thought of exotic locations like Dubrovnik in Croatia. Well, that's good to know actually. What is Dubrovnik so popular? Something to visit, I guess. Yeah, Croatia, Dubrovnik, go there. And from a top 8 list of exotic locations to visit, we go to a top 10 list of places to go to stargaze. Travel and Leisure's top 10 places features the Atacama Desert in Chile, Coruña in Sweden, and Pic du Midi in France, and many more locations around the world. All featured because of specific circumstances that allows them for particular clear skies and very little pollution. Pollution includes, by the way, light pollution, but also radio wave pollution and pollution in the literal sense like smog. So if you want to read up about these beautiful locations and you're a bit of a stargazer, link again is down below. With all this traveling, there's a lot to think about. Because when we go traveling, we tend to forget a lot of stuff or we don't know some of the local rules. So Travel Daily News has an article up about helping us remember things that we need for traveling. When we travel, and especially these days, one of the top things to remember is the laws and restrictions that might vary wildly between locations, even just locations minutes apart. But also literally mind-numbingly obvious things that we still forget, like bringing the right adapter for your electrical devices. So read up in the article below with everything you might forget when you travel internationally. Also, we would like to mention, it's of course not always about just the destination, it's also about the journey, so try and travel relaxed. So with the continued travel restrictions, with especially air travel still being very restrictive, certain companies are looking at inventive ways to use unused assets. Singapore Airlines, one of the world's premium airlines, has seen planes grounded because of lack of demand. Its super jumbos have been grounded, for instance, because they are not viable to use during these troubled times and lack of passengers. But Singapore Airlines has come up with an inventive way of making a little money from one of its A380 super jumbo jets. They transformed one of them in a temporary pop-up restaurant where you can sit and dine in the first class and business class seats. That's actually a really smart idea. Like the plane's still standing there, you can cater it and have people eat on board the A380. So, nice idea. In some very uplifting news, the United Nations World Tourism Organization reports that the first signatory of their new Tourism Ethics Convention is Indonesia. It's the first step of full ratification, but Indonesia is signaling a strong commitment to uphold the highest ethical principles as it is expanding their tourism sector. It is important to note that Indonesia played an important role in drafting the convention because they were part of the committee to oversee it. So, good for Indonesia, but it's only the first signature on it, and a lot of countries need to follow up on it. But at least Indonesia, yeah, that's good for Indonesia, right? With travel being down on its behind, it is clear that travel needs to reinvent itself for future profitability. Travel Daily News has a small article up about this topic, where before the pandemic, only 15% of the travelers wanted to travel to eco-friendly holidays, but data by Global Data suggests that more and more people, especially Gen Z and millennials, have an increased desire in these topics. Well, that's some positive news that people are wanting to travel more ecological or to more ecological locations. That is, well, let's be honest, it's important. In some historic news, for historic Venice, a long-awaited and very controversial wall has saved the city of flooding for the first time. Venice expected a 130 centimeter tide that could have flooded parts of Venice, especially the low-lying parts of it. Residents had been hard at work preparing for it so the city could continue to operate in the case of a flood. But the 78 bright yellow barriers did their job and protected the city of the upcoming flood. Great to hear Venice has one thing less to worry about when travel picks up for its historic cities. That's good news. I heard about those barriers, by the way, but apparently they're working. Another very important news, but more US and Canada related, Airbnb over the Halloween weekend are going to cancel one-night stays to deter house parties. Airbnb fears the one-night stays might be indicative of potential house parties, and those are forbidden under the current rules in the US and Canada in most cities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, unlike previously when Airbnb canceled stays because of the COVID pandemic, they will now reimburse the hosts. This was not the case earlier in the pandemic. So good for you, Airbnb, for looking also after the people offering up their homes who might miss some income because of it. And last but not least, we really have not covered winter sports in this one yet, but we did find a topic we felt was noteworthy. For those of you interested in the actual sports part of winter sports like ski races and snowboard competitions, we found an article by the Daily Mail which reports about the Ski World Cup program, as it aims to limit the risk and costs during the pandemic. With most races taking place in Europe to avoid excessive traveling, but with 2 races in China for practicing for the upcoming 2022 Winter Olympics. Well, thanks. This was it, right? Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the topic. And as always, if you want to read up on them, they're down below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next week with another ES Wednesday Stories. So, see you till then.